Teacher, everything we do them follow. If we know, some boy can't swallow. Some take me out, some take me out. Cool like me what my face with the cake, so cool like me what my face with the straight jeans and fit. White t-shirt, we do it. We rock them shades to the limit. Uptown, seriously, we do it a put more. Good night, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Common Sense. Tonight, it's not Vybz Kartel in the studio, but it's the teacher. And we're going to be having some extra lessons tonight. I want to invite you guys to share the live stream with your friends, with your family. Rock and come in and let's have a great night tonight. Of course, we're back for a new season of financial literacy, of business education. And we're going to be targeting a different segment of the population this season. So lock in, have fun, enjoy, and come and learn. This season on Common Sense, we have a big brand new sponsor, the Guyana Association of Bankers Incorporated. And that's a non-profit organization that comprises of all of our local commercial banks. And it's a oversight organization that is geared at helping the Guyanese populace to understand various complex financial matters and to act as an intermediary between consumers and the bank. So I'm very grateful for the support of the Guyana Association of Bankers, and I look forward to a very fruitful and productive relationship with them. So I'm going to be sharing some of their content on Common Sense in my personal platform so that you, the Guyanese public, can become a bit more informed about some complex financial matters that I wouldn't touch on this show, but that they would touch on their personal pages. So once again, thank you very much to the Bankers Association, and we look forward to a great relationship. Of course, we have our usual sponsors, and their contributions cannot go unnoticed. We have Virtual Solutions Guyana, the recording partner for this entire podcast, the production partner, and of course we have Lucasade, who has been with us from day one, and not forgetting the very wonderful staff and team over at the Little Gift Box. So I want to shout out all of our sponsors tonight, but we're ready to get into the meat of the matter. So tonight we're going to be analyzing the life of one of the most popular persons in my generation, the dancehall hero, the vocabulary physicist, the lyricist, Adidja Palmer, the world boss, and the adjectives can go on and on forever. But he goes by the name of Vybz Kartel, and he is the most controversial dancehall figure. Of course, he's been jailed for the past 12 plus years. Yet he's still been ruling the dancehall industry with releases from jail. And I'm not here tonight to discuss his legal matter, nor am I here tonight to cast aspersions on his character as a man. But tonight's discussion is strictly on music and business and lessons that we can learn from his business life and from the lyrics of some of his most popular songs. So I know the episode is going to be controversial because of the figure that we're using, but that's one of the lessons that we learned from the world boss. Sometimes controversy is good. Right? So Vybz Kartel was born in 1976 in Portmore, St. Catherine, Jamaica, Kingston. And believe it or not, he was born in a very stable family. His mother and his father grew up with him, and both of them were hardworking people that provided for him. And he did not grow up in a very difficult or poverty-stricken home. Yet still, because of the area and the environment that he grew up in, he was an element to some of the poor environmental factors that can affect us as we grow up coming from poverty-stricken neighborhoods. Vybz Kartel, if you listen to his music, if you listen to any of his interviews, you would know that he's a very intellectually brilliant man. Some of the lyrics that he sings, it's very difficult to decipher, and only persons of a certain intellectual caliber would be able to interpret and to make sense of what he's saying. But apart from his lyrics, if you check his high school records, his academic records, he was always one of the best students in his class. He also studied some very difficult subjects, including engineering, geography, subjects that only brilliant people can really excel in. So the man was a very brilliant man. Of course, he was suspended from school not because of a lack of knowledge, but because of truancy. And of course, the factors in terms of his environment played a significant part in some of his poor behaviors and his delinquent behaviors. When he was expelled from school, his parents enrolled him in a private high school so that he can complete his education. And he did so very successfully, graduating with about 6 subjects and being a very exceptional student. So from the onset, we can see that he was a very brilliant man, and sometimes the ghetto youths, that part of his life may be lost in translation, that despite all of the antics, despite all of the musical records, despite all of the controversies, the cake soap, the explicit lyrics, the violent lyrics, the interesting fashion style, and everything else that goes with the personality of Vybz Kartel, at the bottom of it all, he was a very brilliant man. I watched an interview with Kartel at the University of West Indies, and he absolutely destroyed the students. He did a lecture, and some of the questions that the students asked, you would wonder whether the caliber of students that really is being produced at the University of West Indies, some of the dumbest questions you would ever hear in your life, but Kartel handled it with such aplomb and such skill that his intelligence and his brilliance shone through really positively. So I want to zero in on the fact that he was a brilliant and he was an intellectual man, and the only way that you can be brilliant or intellectual is if you read, right? You listen to his music. He referenced the US-Iraq war. He referenced presidents, many historical situations in the world. He was a man that was well-read. And sometimes as ghetto youths, sometimes as young people, we can get carried away with all of the other aspects of his life. And we as young people, we're not well-read, most of us. So I want to encourage us from the onset, be individuals that like to read, especially if you're in business. Sometimes you would listen to some business people, particularly young people, and you have some serious questions as to whether any form of preparation in terms of reading about what you're actually going to endeavor in terms of reading about the career and the industry that you're a part of. Was any of those things ever done?
I hear you do a song every day.
Yeah, man. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3.
Every single day?
Every single day. Yeah, man. Every single day. Because as I said before, I got my work ethics from my father. I'm a person who's always in the studio. Ask any one of my friends, any one of my associates, they can tell you. I love music so much, I set up a little makeshift thing in my house. So as I get an idea, I can just lay down the idea and then I bring it to a studio.
Yes.
Yeah, or I just lay down the idea on the voice note in my phone. That's how much I love music.
Aren't you running the risk of being overexposed? Too much of you?
No, I wouldn't say that. Dancehall music is a very current music, you know. Much like hip-hop, you know. So, whereas an R&B artist can put out an album January 2010, do a few singles, a few videos, and drop a next album January 2012. It's not the case with dancehall music. Dancehall is a current art form, meaning this week Clarks will be the hot shoes, next week is Polo.
Tell them don't thief my laugh. Welcome back to Common Sense, and as you would have seen in that recent clip that I just showed, Vybz Kartel is a very prolific songwriter and recording artist, probably the most prolific dancehall figure in the history of dancehall music. His work ethic is undeniable. His work ethic is visible for all to see, and it's something that we should seek to emulate in our lives. On a previous episode of Common Sense, one of my friends, a professor, attorney at law, Rayon Miller, made a statement, and I quote, "Your ambition must be greater than your circumstance. Your ambition must be greater than your position." And I think that quote was exemplified in the rise of Vybz Kartel from a ghetto youth in Portmore to one of the biggest global stars in the arena of dancehall. He did not allow his position, his circumstance, growing up in a predominantly poverty-stricken area, poverty-stricken community, did not allow that to limit him, to define him, but he had an unyielding determination to escape where he came from and to become bigger than what his community is known and what most people would have categorized his life to become. In one of his classic songs, he made a very pertinent quote where he said, "Me not born rich, but me not dead poor." A very powerful statement that symbolizes his unyielding determination to not allow where he came from to be where he ended up, right? He wanted to overcome poverty, he wanted to overcome the slums, he wanted to overcome the ghetto, and to rise up and to be a successful man, to be a rich man, to be an affluent man, and to be an impactful man in his sphere of life. So I want to encourage all of our viewers, especially ghetto youths, allow your ambition to be greater than your circumstance. Don't allow anyone to tell you that because you were born in Alboystown, Lodge, Leftwood Street, Charlestown, Sophia, and all of the other predominantly marginalized communities that is where you're ultimately going to end up. You can be great from one of those communities. Kartel came from Portmore, right? So you can be something great from Covenden, from Lodge, from Herstellian, from Sophia. Don't allow your position to dictate your future. Allow your ambition to supersede your circumstance and your position.
Vybz Rum, we remember busting it on stage right here about 4 years ago.
Yeah, on stage. That is why...
When you brought it the first time. And,
that was Vybz Rum. It was rather expensive because we were trying to run a competition with some high-end alcoholic beverages, and we didn't do as well. So we decided to go back to the drawing board and reshuffle a few cards in the deck, and we came up with the street Vybz Rum. Cheaper and more marketable for the fans in the streets.
Where is it made?
Street Vybz Rum, it is made in Jamaica, for Jamaica, by Jamaica.
The party get drastic, street Vybz Rum in plastic. Somebody get ice, not nice. Yeah, street Vybz Rum is one of Vybz Kartel's entrepreneurial endeavors, but it almost never came to being. As you can see in the clip here, a very important lesson is being taught to us. Pivot before you give up. And I heard that quote at my second event last year in 2022 from one of my favorite business people, Miss Evie Kanai Gertrude, where she was talking about how her and her husband created this studio and the pandemic hit and they had to redouble their efforts, shift their plans, and do something else different to ensure that the place that they created could have brought in some amount of revenues. And Kartel initially launched a rum to cater to the affluent in society. He wanted to compete with high-end alcoholic products. But as you can see in the clip, he recognized very early that he did not adequately do a proper market research. And when he launched the rum, it flopped. And it became quickly unsuccessful, and he had to pull the rum off the market because most of his audience are not affluent people. So I'm not sure why he thought that he could have attracted the affluent community, given that his music, his entire persona, his entire character doesn't necessarily relate to that grouping of people and that demographic. However, he did not give up on his endeavors. He went back to the drawing board, as he said, and he came back with Street Vybz rum, a rum that is way cheaper, a rum that is more accessible to the lower class, to the ghetto youths that his music revolves around, that he persons that he can identify with and they can identify with him. And Street Vybz became the most popular rum in Jamaica. So that short clip is just a testament to show you that you can always go back to the drawing board. You might flop, you might fail at the first attempt. Redouble your efforts. Don't just throw in the towel, don't just give up. Go back to the drawing board, see if you made a crucial error in your market research, see if you're targeting the correct demographic. Maybe your product might be better suited for males only, or it might be better suited for the upper class or the lower class, whatever it is. Don't just give up. Go back, do some additional preparation and planning, and you can come back, and you never know. Your product can then become extremely successful. So, like Vybz, don't just throw in the towel. Redouble, regroup, and come back harder. I think it's very important as entrepreneurs and as business people that we understand our target market, we understand our demographics, and we tailor our products and services to fit that demographic and that target market to the best of our abilities. There is a concept in life that says, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And there's also another line of reasoning that says, sometimes you need to try some new things, right? But you as an individual, you as a business, you need to understand which one of those theories your business or your service or your product falls into. And if you have the ability to try new things and experiment, and you have the ability to take those risks, then go ahead and take those risks. But if not, stick to what you know is best and continue to thrive in your niche. I think we can look at Marlon Jacobs, for example. Very popular entertainer, very popular events host. And if you look at how he does his business, he primarily caters for one specific target audience. And that target audience has been a propeller to his events and his parties being extremely successful. And he has narrowed down his focus to ensure that his events, his products, his services, his entire persona is relatable to that specific target audience. And I think that has enabled him to be very successful. In comparison, there are a few other entertainers that want to do events for the upper class, the middle class, the lower class, and sometimes a few of those events flop. It might be best for them to go back to the drawing board and see whether that approach in terms of trying to meet every single demographic is a successful one, or should they zero down, focus on their niche, and target a specific audience, and maybe their chances of success may substantially increase. So I want to encourage you guys to know your target audience, know the products and the services that you're offering, and try as much as possible to tailor and curate your products or your services to meet that target audience, and your chances of success are going to be unlimited.
But won't your sound be a little bit expired after a while?
Good point. And if you check Vybz Kartel's initial entry into dancehall, 2002, when Vybz Kartel came out with songs like "Bad Man, look man, and some flows like that, as to Vybz Kartel flow now, you would see a change. Because Vybz Kartel, that is how I always stay relevant to what is happening in dancehall. Vybz Kartel always changes, not the skin tone.
The
musical construct as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Vybz Kartel always strives to be relevant, to maintain that relevancy among the youth. Because a teenager in 2002 is not a teenager now.
Yes.
He's an adult, a young adult.
Yes.
So Vybz Kartel has new teenagers now to control. So I have to remain relevant to them and to their...
For how long?
Well, for as long as
they want you?
No,
you want
for as
them?
long as I can.
You can.
As long as
Because
I
they
can.
will decide when to dismiss you, right?
Yeah, because the power ultimately always rests with the people.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish the people would figure that out where politics is concerned, but that is a debate for our next interview.
Sometimes it's very important as well. I know I just spoke on the importance of if it's not broke, don't fix it, versus trying something new. But sometimes it can be beneficial to reinvent your brand. And I think Kartel was a perfect example of a man that reinvented his brand to stay fresh, to stay new, to stay relevant with the changing times and the changing consumer preferences. Now, if you recall, when Vybz Kartel first came on the scene, he was a black man. And when we last heard from him, he wasn't necessarily black. His skin color changed, right? There are a few theories as to why his skin color changed. Some revolve around bleaching, some revolve around the use of cake soap. I don't know what he used, but what I do know is that he wasn't black anymore, right? That was an example of him reinventing his brand, trying something new, which a lot of entertainers do. Lady Gaga, Madonna, Kanye West. One time Kanye singing gospel albums, and the next time he's releasing rap albums. Always trying different things to stay fresh and to stay new. So it's a very fine line between sticking to your niche and also not becoming stale, also not becoming predictable, and also not becoming boring. So as an entrepreneur, as a business professional, you have to put in the necessary studies and work to understand how you maneuver that very, very thin line between zeroing down on your niche and reinventing your brand. Kartel, the entire fiasco with the skin bleaching, cake soap, coloring book, girl saw me pretty like a coloring book, all of the various tattoos, the entire fiasco with whether he's a devil worshipper or not. When he asks the crowd at the UWI if the devil has a bank account, because they claim that he sold his soul. And in a very comedic fashion, he asks them, does the devil have a bank account? Because how can he go about selling his soul, right? Even in his lyrics, very provocative, very controversial. If you could remember when you were in primary school, there was a song that Kartel released with Spice called Rampin' Shop. And because I have very young viewers, I wouldn't go into the details and the lyrics of that song. And I wouldn't encourage you to go and listen it, right? Right? The other better Kartel songs that you can go and listen, but that song, Rampin' Shop, is actually one of the first international hits that Kartel released that really propelled him into the international spotlight. But that song came with a whole heap of criticism from the Jamaican media, from obviously the religious community, from social organizations that lashed out at him for being a quote-unquote bad role model and influence. Of course, Kartel responded by saying he's an entertainer. He's not a politician. He's not a religious leader. He's not a social leader. So his goal is not to ensure that your children is brought up with the correct moral standards and the correct moral teachings. His role is to entertain. So Kartel always quoted controversy. Apart from his very sexual lyrics, his music was also extremely violent. Some very graphic details when it comes to murder and the whole 9 yards of violence. But that is part and parcel of the dancehall experience and part and parcel of the Vybz Kartel experience, which I'm pretty sure that he knew how to manipulate the media, how to manipulate what people say about him, and his lyrics, his actions were very intentional, and all of that ties back into his very excellent marketing strategy that he employed as an artist. Kartel diversified his investment portfolio beyond just music. He used the skin bleaching controversy to his benefit by releasing a cake soap line that was extremely successful. And of course, each of us would know the very popular song, Cool Like Me What Me Face, with the cake soap. Kartel also released his own sneaker line, Adi. And that was another very successful entrepreneurial endeavor that Kartel ventured into. Of course, he did the hit song Clarks, which dominated airwaves in England, in the international scene. Clarks experienced some of his highest sales during that 2009 to 2011 period when that song dominated all of the airwaves, dominated the Billboard charts. Kartel released his own line of condoms called Daggerin, right? And it was another very successful entrepreneurial endeavor. So he was a very savvy businessman, and he used his music to be the catalyst for his excellent entrepreneurial endeavor. So his sexual lyrics tied into his condoms. The song with Clarks was a catalyst for him releasing his own sneaker line. The skin bleaching controversy was a catalyst for him releasing the cake soap. His music about rum drinking, alcoholism was a catalyst for him releasing the Street Vibes Rum alcoholic brand, and he also did a song about it. So his marketing, his branding was unmatched. He was always in the news for something, good or bad. Of course, they say controversy sells, whether good or whether bad. The fact is, controversy sells. Now, as business people, I would never encourage you to deliberately do negatively controversial things just to get views, just to get attention, just to get sales, right? But it's very important that you stay relevant, you stay in the limelight, you stay consistent in your marketing and PR efforts if you want to be successful in business. It makes no sense putting in hours of work, spending millions of dollars into a product, into a service, making it the best, making it world class, making it to the highest level of standards, making it one of the best products. Or if you have a service, you might be into pedicure, manicure, and you have the best spa or the best facilities, but nobody knows about it. You don't have a Facebook or Instagram page. If you do, nothing has been posted for the past 5-6 months. You don't want to run your business like that. People have to know about your business, and you have to market and run with your business in order to maximize sales and to maximize revenues. So I want to encourage all of our entrepreneurs, all of our business people, up your marketing in 2023 for the remainder of the year. And in 2024, come with a brand new sense of purpose. I'm going to market my business. I'm going to make whatever business you have viral, well known. There are some great examples that you can look at. I saw just yesterday, or just recently, Alicia launched another business endeavor, a physical location to the Kaya Organics group. But if you look at her Instagram page, you look at her Facebook page, she's one of the most prolific marketers in all of business in Guyana. She is well known in every nook and cranny because she's always on the go, always posting new content, always posting new videos, very visually appealing content as well. You look at David Adams from Ecoden, Instagram guru, right? Thousands of views on those reels. And he goes to extreme lengths to ensure that those reels are perfectly filmed and of the highest quality to attract viewership and to attract you, the consumer. So I want to encourage you to up your marketing game, and that will enable more people to know about your business, which can ultimately lead to more sales, which can ultimately lead to more revenues and more profits for you. In front of every ghetto youth are two roads. Make sure not the one with destruction you chose. Choose the one with the mansion, the yachts, few rows. Badness was the thing, but me have new goals. Yeah. Tell them, don't thief my laugh. Listen to this other song here. Money for your flow like Catherine speak. Every part of the Bible, the doctrine speak. The part you tell me, blessed is the meek. He inherit the earth, I know hypeness do it. I the humblest man of the nicest Jeep. Me learn to keep me cool. I mean want to catch wise, me not play the fool. It no matter which party you run things, Anani and Michael man you rule. Life is what you make it. Also for the money not have no babies. Tell it to the end, sell it to the baby. Try to don't love nobody, you're lazy. Yeah. This one here is for the ghetto youths. Popcorn song a song. You can't just idle. Cause idle loves the devil will find you. Right? I want to implore each and every person watching, particularly those who may consider themselves to be ghetto youths and some of the regular boys. And at this point, I want the cameraman to just focus the camera directly on me because I'm talking, I'm preaching to you now. Right? Just last week, we had a very sad situation where a young man was murdered, brutally murdered, I should say. And based on all of the news reports, he was murdered by his best friend. And a cursory examination of his best friend's Facebook page would see an unfortunate characterization and mimicking of a character called Pablo Escobar, right? And funny enough, is Pablo, I don't know if Pablo's in jail or if he's dead, but the point is, Guyana's wannabe Pablo is currently behind bars and is looking at being sentenced for a very long time in jail. But the important point that I want to bring out here is that as a young man, and I'm targeting our young men right now because sometimes we like to put on a facade, live above our means, and pop bottles. We want to be known as the biggest spenders at outside lunch. Right? Big up outside, no offense to the team at outside, right? But if you look at this guy's IG page, bottles of Moet, Hennessy, all of the latest champagnes is what his lifestyle was all about. And it can be deduced that most of his flashy lifestyle did not come from honest and legitimate means. And as Kartel has said in the song, and there's a reason that I use Kartel because I know he can relate to you, right? There are two roads that each of us can take in this life. A path of destruction or a path of life. And on the path of destruction includes things like stealing, robbing, frauding, drugsing, the whole laundry list of illegitimate and illegal activities that lots of young men find themselves into. Not necessarily, there's no good reason for doing that, but most of it is so infantile and puerile that people are doing these evil and wicked things just to put on a show. And I want to implore our young people, work hard for whatever it is that you want. There is no shame in the game. You have to start somewhere before you reach to where you ultimately want to go. So if you got to start at KFC, if you got to start at being a salesman, if you got to start being a bartender, whatever it is, start where you are, and with time, you will eventually get to where you want to be. Don't rush the brush. Don't become envious of your friend's success and begin to devise plans to take what is not yours. Kartel is a perfect example and a perfect testament of the ability to work hard, of the ability to have ambition, the ability to be resilient, to persevere, and those are the qualities that will propel you to success. I want to implore all of the young men watching, work hard for whatever it is that you want. Hustle for whatever it is that you want. You wouldn't get what you want hanging out on the roadside every night. You wouldn't get what you want drinking every night. You have to have a plan for your life and a purpose for your life. And you have to put in the necessary work to achieve the things that you want to achieve. Stop robbing people of their hard-earned money. Stop being a fraud. Stop being a thief. Stop engaging in a plethora of corrupt activities. Try to eke out an honest living. And trust me, once you work hard and you're honest, your chances of success increase exponentially. So I just want to encourage our young people, work hard. Work hard, work hard, work hard. Hustle every day for whatever it is that you want to achieve, and go and achieve your dreams relentlessly. Don't rob your mati. Don't thief from your mati. Don't be envious of your mati. And stop frauding people. Work hard for your honest living. I want to implore you guys to work hard. If you want to trade a load of money like Kartel, work hard. If you want $1 million by your morning, work hard. Right? Life is sweet. Life is to be enjoyed. And you can only enjoy the sweetness of life if you're living an honest life and you're working for whatever it is that you want. Right? And even if, let's say you want to be a girl's man, the only way that you can successfully be a girl's man is if you have money. From an honest means. Right? Employment before enjoyment. That's what the Mighty Sparrow sang years ago. And that lesson still stands. So I want to encourage our young men to work hard. Don't sell your soul for nothing. Don't sell your soul for anything. Work hard for whatever it is that you want. Adija, Prava, Royal Boss. Tell them Don't teach me laugh. Teacher, everything do them follow. If me not, some boy can. Some take me up, some take me out. Hey. The teacher, Adija, world boss Palmer, and I'm so grateful tonight that we could have delved into some elementary aspects of his life and pulled some lessons that we can apply into our daily lives to ultimately become better professionals and better entrepreneurs. I want to re-emphasize the importance of working hard, of developing your craft, of spending time developing your craft, which can ultimately lead you to becoming successful in whatever it is that you do, whether it be a skill, a talent that you have, whether it be professionally. Put the necessary time in and develop your craft, and your opportunities for success will expand exponentially. I want to encourage you guys to be consistent and to be relevant. In the Guyanese business landscape, you can't go missing for a year or else you'll become a relic of the past. You have to always be consistent, always be relevant, always be out there so that people can know, hey, my business is still here, I'm still here, I am still doing my thing, right? Market. Push your products, push your services, push your talent, push whatever it is that you have to offer, and don't stop marketing your product. Try and come up with new and inventive ways to market. Don't just do the same old, try new stuff, reinvent your brand, go back to the drawing board, ensure that you fit whatever it is that you're offering, fit your target grouping, fit your target market, fit the demographics, and it's relatable and relevant to them. And just strategize, execute, and plan. Plan, strategize, and execute, and then your chances of being successful in business will be unstoppable. Don't do anything illegal. Don't do anything fraudulent, or you'll find yourself behind bars or 6 feet below. I want to encourage you guys not to live above your means. Live below or within your means, and whatever it is that you have, work hard for it. Nobody can take away that from you, right? I also want to encourage you guys to stay tuned to the Guyana Association of Bankers Inc., their Facebook and Instagram pages. Like it, follow it, share it for more financial content. I want to thank all of my sponsors, Lucas Aid Virtual Solutions Guyana, Little Gift Box, and of course the Guyana Association of Bankers Inc. for making this episode a reality. It's the first, it's just a teaser. I have some amazing content lined up for the rest of the season. So lock in with me over the next few weeks, and let's have an amazing time growing financially, growing our businesses, and ultimately becoming wealthier and richer. This is your boy Machugo saying, Ao.